Hey YouTubers, today we've got a Peugeot 307, I believe it's circa 2007, it's 1.6 petrol. I'm going to be doing wheel bearing on it. I'll take you through the process. Very much in need. I always say, they got lockers on, get the locking bolt or nut off first. Right, so the wheel's off. What we have to deal with is track rod end, unbolt that. Unbolt these two nuts and remove the bolts. Unbolt the two bolts, which are for the brake caliper carrier, which there's one, and the other's at the top. I'll show you a better picture in a bit. This nut here, for lower ball joint. Remove this pin and remove the nut. So the first thing I'm going to do is a track rod end here, because it allows more movement then, make the rest of it a bit easier. And I think on this, it's going to be a good idea to give everything a little squirt up. Hope you can see that, track rod end. 16. So this was originally a UK vehicle. It's a right-hand drive. And we get a bar under that because the whole lot's turning. So that's it up for the track rod end. Should just tap off because it's all had a good spin up. That's that out of the way now. Next, the wire for the ABS sensor. ABS sensor wire. Just detach that so we've got a bit more room. There. Don't undo them all the way, because when you undo the next one, it can move the caliper carrier, make life awkward. So now it's still held in by the top, and we have this one out. Get bungee ready. Undo the top bolt. Oof, more than finger tight, unfortunately. Whiz it out the last threads. just got to spread the pads a little bit. There's a bit of a lip on this disc. So this is the back of it where it bolts onto the car. So we have one in here, and then above it there's another one there. Take the weight of the unit, caliper and caliper carrier, so that it doesn't put any stress on the brake hose. I'll keep that out of the way. Right, next thing to do is the disc. Torx there, T30, and the Torx there, T30. Got my finger. That's one. That's two. I've got to tap the disc off generally, so I normally just put a wheel bolt in there, or if it's got a stud on it, just put the nut on the end of it. I'll start off with a little copper hammer. The reason for putting this bolt in it, as you see, so it doesn't drop off. That's the disc off now. Next thing to do is this nut here. So we take out this little pin. And on this one, it's 36. Big corroded there, give it a little squirt. Now, if you're doing this at home and you don't have air tools, etc., you're best off doing this on the ground, this part of it, because you might get it to here and not be able to undo this nut. They're tight, I think they're about 325 newtons. If you've got the right equipment, it makes it a lot easier. Now we need to make sure that the actual drive shaft moves in here. They do have a tendency to corrode inside. So get the nut back a bit. And that's okay. So there's plenty of movement for that. If you find that you're really hammering it, you're best off getting a punch that fits in here, because otherwise it could end up damaging the thread. Just get a little screw up inside. So next thing that we have to do is get the hub puller and get the hub off it. Not much happening there yet. Whew, there we go. How about? Next thing to do is undo the lower ball joint nut. I believe that's a 22. Try it with a 21. Oh yeah. So that's a 21 on that one. Now torque settings on these are 50, but don't forget it's probably not been apart since it's been in Spain, so. So that's off now. Next we need to undo these two bolts here. Unclip that from there. I'll tell you what I might do. Disconnect the ABS sensor from behind here and then actually take the sensor itself off when it's on the bench. Probably be easier for me to show you that way. So behind this little flap on the inner plastic, the arch, and then you have a multi-plug here which just lift the end up and push back. I remember rightly. I'll get a little screwdriver on that and a bit more right, I think. Might help, guys. So we have this little multi-plug here. I'll see if I can get a wiggle first. A little squeeze. See if we can get it out. There we go, that's apart now. Use a trim tool. Get in behind it, just pop it out like that. So now we can take the whole ABS lead and everything over to the bench or wire, and then I can show you how we're going to remove that. Sometimes they can be a real pain. So now we're left with this one, and we have to release the bottom joint. And these I believe are 18s, give them a bit more squirt. Yeah, 18. Remember the orientation, so they go, bolt goes front to back. Right, I'm going to get a socket on this because it's not happening with that one. Just a bit crusty on there. As you can see, the threads don't come all the way to the end of them. Now I've done a lot of these, and I don't normally bother putting a bar across this because it very seldom works. I normally just get my splitter and put that on it. Although it's going to make me a liar because we have movement on that. So that's one bolt out. Probably have to use a punch for the other one. Do get a punch on that. Make sure this is loose because if you pull it all from the front, invariably you're going to lose gearbox fluid. That's number 2. That's why I go through so many lengths. Right, you can see we're all apart here now. Extract the drive shaft from it. I want to see if we can give that a little tap out. We did have some movement on it. Got a lot of ball bearings on it. Nice and easy. The reason I wanted to show you this on the bench is, so this is actually the pickup on the ABS sensor here. Now, if you can see, when you put the circlip back in, you have to leave the space for it. So this is the circlip here, runs round to there, and this pickup goes between. Otherwise, when you put it back together, you don't have an ABS warning light. This is, on this, a 10mm. It's quite crusty. I need to give it a bit of a spritz up. And also worth noting while we're here, on your wheel bearing you notice one side's black, that'd be the magnet, which this pickup needs. Let's see if we can get this out without damaging it. And when they're like this, it's, I don't know, 50-50 maybe? So far, so good. That's just a 10mm. Now, you have to try and get it moving without snapping the plastic. Yeah, gently, gently. Just the corrosion under these things. There we go. In one piece. Nice. But you can see the corrosion where it sits. And quite often what happens, you get an ABS warning light on, and someone will diagnose it as a sensor. But what it is a build-up of corrosion underneath it, so it pushes the pickup out, creates a bigger air gap, and it doesn't pick up properly. Now, whether or not this circuit will come out easily is anyone's guess. If I was to put money on it, I'd say probably not. Now, if this car lived all its life in Spain, or in this part of Spain anyway, it's pretty dry, it would be a piece of cake. But right then, so that's not moving, so you get a bit technical on it now. We go into this bit of circuit and lift it up. Just start going at it. We've got enough to get these under here yet. I'll give it a pull that way. Give it a little helping hand. So now, well, bad old thing, corrosion. Stick this in the vise. Make it a bit easier this way. So I can have another pair of hands. That's out. Just corrosion. Give this a clean up. So that just helps with removing the old bearing and putting the new one in. So we're done with this for now till we get to the press. So we need to remove the inner race from the hub. Now I can go with a hammer and chisel, let's give that a go, but from experience really sure we're not going to get anywhere with that, and we're going to end up cutting it off with the grinder. I've got that out of the way. And no movement at all. So now it's time for the grinder. You need to be really careful. You do not want to be cutting into the hub itself, here or here. So just be really careful when you do this, and make sure you're wearing these. Right, I've got a little way now. I'm going to go over the hammer and chisel, see if it splits. So just don't get carried away, just a bit at a time, give it a smack with the hammer and chisel, see if it'll split. Sometimes you'll be quite lucky and don't have to go too deep with them. This one needs a bit more. I think we may have some. There we go. So now I've moved it away from here, I can cut a bit deeper on that piece there. We'll hopefully open that up now. And that is the way to do it without damaging the hub. So, there we go. This doesn't seem too worn. I did say to a client that the way it was, it may have damaged the hub, but to be honest, it doesn't seem too bad at all. I can't feel a lip or anything in it, and it looks pretty okay. So the next thing we want to do is get the old bearing out, and we do that on the press. Now to get the old bearing out, what we need to do is, there's a race inside here, so we've got the bearings in two halves basically, outer and inner, and there's a lip. Now we want to get our sleeve to push on that lip. So you need to find, I know we're going to have loads of old bearings and stuff everywhere, but we need to find a suitable press, and also a press that's big enough to go around there, which is going to be this one. And again, for experience, I know with these, you kind of get it going like this, and then you have to adjust it on the actual press. Let's give it a go, see where we're at with it. That's too big. So I'll go with this one. Again, eye protection. is not wanting to budge. I don't think I've got this movement here yet. There we go. So that's moving now. Now we've got it on the move. We have to reset it on the press. Can be a bit of a pain sometimes. That's that part of it. Right through. Bugger. I would like to get a better press at some point, but this old girl does the job. Or old boy. Could be either, couldn't it, to be fair? This will clean up. Need to make sure where the bearing sits, there's no corrosion. Now time for new bearing. So here's a new bearing. Out packaging. As I said before, one side mainly silver, other side black because it's got a magnet, and it's got a little dot, help you out a bit. So when you're pressing the bearing in, this side, the plain side, goes towards the front, and the piece with the magnet goes at the back. So this will be the orientation for it there. So that's the front there, so the clear side being there, clear silver. Whatever's your poison. And I only do this to give it a bit more height in there. And again, we want to find a press sleeve that is about the same size as the outrace of the bearing we've just taken out. And make sure it's straight and centered. So straight and centered. Put on your goggles. Start pressing it in. Now I can see that's not quite centered, so adjust it there. And then you can watch the bearing going in, make sure it's going down straight. So you can hopefully see that's home now. There's the space, the circlip, little ridge in there. And that's what we do next. We should be putting the circlip in. So this kit comes with a new circlip, nut and lock washer. Does it not need fit? So remember how it goes, because we have our ABS sensor that sits in here. So the ABS sensor, pick up, locates in there. We can get it set in. So that's how that sits in there. So the circuit has to go in around it there. Let's see. Now we can check it. And as it is the minute, this side's too far over. You can adjust it. on. Check torque settings. 8 for this one here, I believe. But with these, I know how tight they go. Bueno. Right, let's get this. I was going to say get it back on the car, but we've forgotten something. Maybe we should put the hub in, eh? Right, now we're ready to install the hub into the knuckle. And what you need is a press sleeve. I'll try and get this on camera. That is the same size as your inner race. If I can find a press sleeve somewhere that's going to fit, all will be well. So this press sleeve, can we see this, is exactly the same size as the inner race. And the reason you do that is so that when you're pressing the hub on, it doesn't push the inner race out of the bearing. Very important to remember that. And I keep saying it, very important to remember these. Let's zoom you out a tad. So you can see the whole process. Make sure you keep it nice and centred as always. That's a good one. An oldie but a goodie. Silence. Now we can start getting it back together. And we just dab a little bit of copper slip in here, very sparingly, because if you're not sparing with it, yeah, foul up the ABS sensor. Just hook the ball joint in where it lives. Now, get the drive shaft kind of where it lives. You just have to be careful of the boot on this, the rubber boot on the drive shaft. So quite often, which I shall now, I'll get a bar, lower it down, and then try and get one of these bolts in. But I find it easier to put it on the lower ball joint first. A little bit cack-handed there, trying to keep out of the way of the camera. Actually, get this short back up and clipped in. There, there. That's nice. Drive shaft's through now. Okay. Remember the orientation of the bolts. The bolts went from the front to the rear. Here we get it built in. There we go. That's fine. So it's going to make our life a lot easier now to get the second one in. And with these, because it's trying to push itself out, I'd normally find it easier to get some, push on the bolt head and tap that rather than smacking the bolt through. Check out the torque specs for this vehicle, not necessarily for your vehicle, even if it is the same model in year. These are 90, the two for the caliper carrier, they are 105, the bottom one's 50, and this one's 325. Right. Now we can reconnect the ABS wire, ABS sensor wire, reverse taking it off, push it in till it clicks, push the fix in, holder, and and this just clips in at the back. Next thing we do, put the disc on. Should we get it lined up? A little smidge of copper, not copper, thread lock. Just nip these up. I think they're probably 7 or 8 newtons or something, but I'll do as I feel, work them in. And to reinstall the caliper and carrier. Just get away. So these two torch ones, a little bit of thread lock. And these are 105 on this particular vehicle, 105 millimeters. As I said, your responsibility to check it out with your own vehicle. Let's try going in the bottom first. There we go. Sometimes just find that easier. I'll snap these up with a gun to start with. Just snag it up. Same with the top one. Now we can torque that. There, the bottom up. Now we have the bottom nut there on the lower joint. Let's adjust you there a bit. So the bottom nut lives on the lower ball joint there. There's a bit of a swine to get off. Hopefully it'll go on without too much aggravation. When it started, let's see where we go with it. Right, so the whole lot's turning. I've tried putting a bar across it, but I think we might end up using a different method to do this. Get enough on it. There we go. I'm sorry about the head here. Right, we'll have to try a different way to do that. So this is how I would normally set up, because the whole ball joint's turning. So I've got X stand there, X will stand there, a bar across it, which goes under the wishbone, and that way I can get enough pressure on this to do the nut up. Let's have a go. Torque it while it's got the weight on it. There we go. Right, that's the bolt for the bottom joint, ball joint. Have a nut to put on here, and on these they are quite a lot. 325 on this particular model. And again, check your own. So we'll snug it up with a gun to start with. Making sure that we're not cross-threaded. Use the same 36 to off with. Always like to spin them when I'm going. So it's shootable in here. So what might make my life easier at this point in time, it's a tight old way to go. I need the assembly on that. Wasn't that far anyway. So we'll do more wheel mix. Where's the shredded weight? Can't remember. But anyway. That's nice and chalked up now. So basically we're left with, put the wheels on, pump the brakes up, chalk up the wheels. Or, as we're doing, just one side on the camera, the wheel. And of course track one end. Find the back to stick the bar on this one. Yep, it's going to need the bar. Let's get the bar under it. Let's see what we're doing here. Right about there, if I can hold it up like that. Yeah. And then like that. Like that. Now give it a little torque up. Hope you enjoyed that short video on how to change front wheel bearing on a Peugeot 308. I think I might have introduced it as a 307. I'll find out when I edit it anyway. Yeah, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, like, hit the bell to get notified of my next videos, and please leave any comments or questions in the box below. Thanks for watching.